What up guys, this is the Power Up Mushroom. I'm coming to you with a video. This video is going to be, this is actually a response to the Spoony Bard. He's a good buddy of mine. He made a video on this. Go check out his channel. By the title of the video, you know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about, it's basically retro, or not retro gaming. I'm thinking about retro gaming a lot right now because I've been playing Sonic Mania, and that is a fantastic game, but just my whole thought of gaming going digital, that's really where the topic is going. And we talked a little bit about this with Nomdees, and well, I talked about it with Nomdees and Spoony Bar. We did it on our talk show. We brushed over the subject real briefly, but I think this does deserve something more, you know, like kind of go more in depth on. And it's just, where do you see, like, what are my thoughts on gaming going completely digital? Like, and a lot of people right now, really, I mean, for the majority of the people, I don't think a lot of people care a lot about games getting physical releases. And I mean, that's okay, but for collectors like myself and a few other people I know, this is kind of a big deal. And I mean, it is going to be a pretty big deal to people who play video games regularly, including those who don't really care about it going digital, because this concerns you too. And really, in the fact that, I mean, one of the very first things that that really kind of comes to mind is that when games go digital, they're on a server. You can download them to your hard drive or whatever, and they'll be there too. But more likely, you know, to get the games, there has to be internet, you know, and there has to be a server that you can download from. And really, when it comes down to that, what I think is that what happens when servers go down? What happens when the game is no longer on the marketplace? What happens when you can no longer download the game? The game is gone forever, unless like a company decides to put it back up. That's it. It's gone. That's all. There's no more. And not only that, but like with games being only online only, this affects them too for like games like Destiny, Final Fantasy 14. Well, MMOs. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna scratch out MMOs. There's no need to worry about MMOs, but games like Destiny. Which I guess you kind of put in the MMO department, but it's just games like that. You buy the game and you're not going to be able to play it again once the servers are gone. Once Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC or whatever, once they have cut down those servers, that's it. That game has no use to you. It's just taking up space, and all it is just something to look at and be like, oh yeah, I have memories of playing that game. That's really all it is. And for games that they're strictly only digital, like Mega Man 9 and 10. So thank goodness we got a port from Mega Man 9 and 10, because they were only digital downloads for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation Store or the PSN. But like, imagine if someone were just taking them down, like Capcom, like they just took them down and that was it. They never released them physically. There's no way you could play those games anymore. There are games that it's already happened where games have disappeared because you can no longer download them. That they're gone, like, for good. Games like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which, if you guys, I'm sorry, like, it was a really cool game if you were able to play it, but it's no longer on the PSN or the Xbox Live Store anymore. There's a game called Chrome Hounds. You need internet to play it. It's just, if you never got to play Chrome Hounds, it sucks because you guys, I mean, the game doesn't suck, but it sucks that you guys can't play it, because it was a really cool experience, you know, playing Chrome Hounds. I played that it was on I think it was a 360 exclusive, if I'm correct. If not, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember seeing a PS3 version, but that was a cool game. And it's just games like that. And not only that, what comes to mind when I hear that games, when they're only digital, it's just like, it just sucks for people who want to go back and play games. I watched Spoony Bard's video, and what he brought out was a really good example of like a game being digital only and what happens when it's gone. Granted, this wasn't a fully released game, but if it was, I'd be pretty pissed. But it pretty much was. The PT demo, the Silent Hills demo, that game isn't around anymore. You guys can't play that game anymore. If you want to play that game, your best chances are probably just buying an overpriced PlayStation 4, or I don't know, if you download already, like, good for you, you have it. But I mean, if you have a friend that has it, you can play it with them or something. But if you want to play that demo, which it was an amazing demo, I don't have it, by the way. It sucks to be us because we can't play that game. Want to know why? Because Konami pulled it off the PSN store and it's gone. You can't play that game. The work that the developers put into that game, the work that Hideo Kojima put into that game, like I think Hideo Kojima put some work into that game. All that work, it's gone. There's no way to get that work back. That work is history. There's nothing left. Like you can't. It's gone. You just can't appreciate it anymore. It's lost. Really, anybody, for people who are living right now, it's just for people maybe in the next generation or whatever. They're not gonna know what PT is. PT is probably going to be like one of those games like, hey, it's like a stadiums event, you know, for collectors in the future. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like stadium events or maybe like some Little Samson or something because it's not there anymore. And that's what comes to mind is when games go digital, they're just not going to be around anymore. They're not going to be around forever. They're going to be gone. And that's what concerns me because I've heard people talk about, there's been rumors about PlayStation 5 and like, if like Xbox is going to go completely digital, I don't know, that if it's completely digital, your games are going to be on that console. So if your console poops, I mean, it sucks because your console, that's where all your games were, your digital games. And not only that, if they're only digital games, imagine how long. I've had problems with it, like friends who you know, they have internet and they live in Texas. Like people in Texas, let me tell you, if you live in San Antonio or Poteet or Pleasanton, anywhere around there, like those small towns. San Antonio's not a small town, but like the towns around San Antonio, like Poteet, Pleasanton, it sucks to be you guys because internet sucks out there. Like it sucks. It's trash. I mean, what, like I have a friend who lives out there. His internet's what, like I think what 3 megabytes per second. 13 megabytes if it's a good day for him. That's terrible. You know how long it's gonna take to download maybe a 60 gigabyte game? Which let me remind you that guys, that 60 gigabytes is probably gonna be like it's the average game download. Like look, I'm gonna just look at Yakuza right now. Maybe Yakuza 0. It's 23 gigabytes. Let's get a bigger game like maybe Persona. 20. Never mind. Persona's 20 gigabytes. This is really working against me right now. There's big games out there. Just know that for sure. I know Halo Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. Those things. Halo Master Chief Collection alone is 105 gigabytes, I think, if I'm correct. Halo 5 is like 60 plus, and it's ridiculous. Imagine having to download. That would take a week. That would take a week to download in those types of areas. That's terrible. I don't see why like going digital only is really, it's not a bad idea for people who have good internet. It's not. Don't get me wrong. Digital is not a bad way to buy games. If that's something that you're into, I mean, hey, good for you. You know, I'm happy. But for people like collectors or anything, we like holding something physical in our hand. Physical copies is just kind of like it's just more of that adventure of going to the store, looking at the game, and picking it off the shelf and bringing it back home. For a lot of people who grew up in the 90s, like me and like a bunch of other people, and early 2000s, that's what it's like. You went to the store, you looked on the shelf, you picked up the game, looked at the box, and now there's already signs of games going like only digital. I mean, like because I think like towards the end of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 life cycle, you had games that they're already getting rid of manuals. One of the last games to really have manuals was like Skyrim, Halo Reach. Those are just more of the more popular games that I could really think of on the top of my head. But you know, manuals start disappearing, and it's just like, okay, that kind of sucks because when you were a kid, you kind of like, you know, if you flip through the manual while you're going home, your parents, you know, took you to the store to buy this game, and really the manuals, if you want a manual, you have to buy the strategy guide. That's basically what it was, because back then, for a lot of the bigger or for a lot of the Nintendo games, you had a manual, and it was pretty much a strategy guide. So I mean that was pretty cool, and I miss that. I miss doing that, and just the fact of knowing that we're getting close to a part where like digital gaming is like really big, and it might take over. It might where things are only going to be digital. It sucks, but that's really where we're headed. because you're not going to be able to hold those physical copies. And let me mind you, digital only games. Not only that, I was talking to you guys earlier about the servers going down, but let me just bring up something about games being released unfinished, because now this is something that concerns me. Games that are released unfinished, what happens when the patches, they come out? This is a big problem, because a lot of games, almost every game today, every game that comes out, if you want the finished version, you have to wait a week, you have to wait a month. Halo Master Chief Collection is still like buggy as heck, but I mean, like, they fixed a lot of it. And it's been a couple of years already. Halo 5, they didn't have file share or forge mode. They didn't have custom games at all. They just barely added that. Maybe like what, like last year, like towards the end of last year, they added all that stuff in. And it's just like, no, legit. They added, like, I think it was, they finally added custom games like in November or September of last year or something. And that's ridiculous. Like, the game wasn't even finished and you released it like that. Imagine what it's like when everything's only digital and like your servers go down. You're not gonna have patches for that anymore. The patches are gone. You're gonna have a broken game. Like, let me, for instance, I don't know if you guys can download. For some reason I feel like I heard about this, but I don't know if it's true or not. I need to do more research, but don't quote me on this. Heavy Rain, the patch is gone because I think the server's gone. Don't quote me on that, but. It just, I mean, that's what I feel like I've heard. If not, then I mean, well, hey, download the patch. But what happens when the PSN servers? Let's just say that it's the patch is still out there. You downloaded the server, and the PSN server just shuts down. And there's a patch for the game, because there are patches for the game. Because if I'm correct, the game there is a game-breaking bug, just with the vanilla version or whatever. And what happens when you can't download the patch anymore? What happens when you're just really, I'm holding like a game that's broken on its own. Mass Effect Andromeda. What happens when you can't download the patches for that? You're stuck with a bunch of ugly facial animations. It's terrible. And they expect you to play the game like that. What happens when Xbox Live servers, like, they shut down for the Xbox One? Which I know it's not going to happen soon, but what happens when it does? You're not gonna be able to play Mass Effect Andromeda anymore. That's it. You're stuck with a broken game, and that's my biggest problem is when games going on only digital. It's just that you're not gonna be able to download the patches. One, if games are only digital, you're not gonna be able to download the game once the servers are gone. You're probably going to have to pay for the game twice if they re-release it on a future console. Like, you know, a bunch of those Neo Geo's titles, they're releasing them on the Nintendo eShop or whatever, the virtual console. Imagine if they were only digital titles that you downloaded back then, and then say like your Neo Geo broke or whatever. What if you're going to have to buy it again? 3DSs. What sucks is that you can transfer data from your 3DS or whatever, but it's just you can only do it once, I think. What happens when your 3DS craps out? You're gonna pay money to get it fixed just so you can play those games that you downloaded. On the Wii Virtual Console, for the original Wii, all your games are gone because the Wii servers are down. You can't play games on there anymore. For games with multiplayer only, remember Halo 2? Like, it wasn't multiplayer only, but that was like this biggest aspect, like just these big battles online. You can't experience that anymore unless you're buying the Master Chief Collection. But really, come on, that's the crappiest way to play. The way to play was on the OG Xbox, but the game is gone. Like, the servers are dead. You can't play. You can't experience those games anymore because the servers are gone. And really, that's where it all comes down to: is when servers are gone, their games are going to be gone. If it's only digital. That's why, like, when I see games that go on sale and they're indie games, I kind of jump on it. If they, I've heard really good things about it and I haven't bought it yet, I jump on those games because I'm probably never going to be able to play those games again. Games like maybe Sonic the Hedgehog 4, it wasn't a fantastic game for some people say, but I want to get all the episodes just so I have a complete version of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which they should have just released a physical copy of it. Games like, well, like I said, it sucks. Scott Pilgrim. One of my friends has Scott Pilgrim. Maybe I'll buy his Xbox off of him, but I mean, it sucks because you can't play it. These games that developers have put time, their personal time and their love to create these games, you can't play those games anymore because they're gone. And that's what it all comes down to. If you have a physical copy, though, let's just say that I don't know. This is the first one I can grab, and just because I want to grab it. Last Action Hero, the licensed video game, right here on the Genesis. let's just say that this was digital download only in 1990 something, wherever there's no date on this. 1993. Well, let's just say that 1993, the only way you could get this was digital. Imagine, I wouldn't be talking to you guys about Last Action Hero right now, but I have a physical copy, and because I could just go and pop this into my Genesis and just play as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on. Come on, come on. Who doesn't want to do that? And really, that's what it comes down to. Because I have these physical copies of games right behind me, I can play them. Because I don't have to download them. It's not that I don't have to download them. I don't have to worry about these games, you know, crapping out on me. Because I have copies of them. They work. They were fully released games. I'm pointing mostly at like the GameCube and everything. But those games that like on the newer generations, like I said, they're released unfinished and they need patches. And really, those would be broken games. Games like freaking Halo 5. I'm going to point at Halo 5 a lot because I will not forgive 343 for that. And it's just games like those, and you're just not going to be able to play them in the future because they're going to be broken. Unless they re-release them. But then you'd have to pay another $60 for it. And for digital games, like I said, if they're going to be digital only, like I said, I'm okay with that, but it's just, I don't want to see my physical copies go. If there's any way, I would like to have the developers kind of, you know, have us, like, maybe an online store. We could buy the physical copies or order them. You know, that'd be really cool. If you didn't want the digital only games, maybe even on the Xbox Live Store, if there was only digital copies of a certain game, there should be a way to order online through the PSN or, like, the Xbox Store. Like, hey, bring it to my house or something. I don't know. Something like that. But, that's really all I have to say on the subject is that I'm really all for physical games, specifically, I guess, because I'm a collector and I like holding the physical copies of games. My bad, I'm getting tongue twisted. And digital only, to me, I don't think it's the way to go. And probably in the future it is going to happen. There's nothing really we could do about it, unless people speak with their mouths like they did with the Xbox One. Remember when the Xbox One was going to be digital only? People freaking screamed the heck out of them, like they yelled at them. So they went back to physical copies. So there you go. Hopefully that happens again with the next generation of consoles, or PlayStation 5 or Xbox, whatever they're releasing, Xbox 2. Maybe that will happen and they'll stay with physical games. But for now, I mean, like, we gotta enjoy it for what it is. And like I said, maybe eventually everything's gonna go digital. By the way, if everything goes digital, I think games should be cheaper. It shouldn't be $60. There's no way, because you're not paying for the printing or anything like that. Cause I really think if you're gonna buy something digital, it should be cheaper. There should be no reason it should be $60. If it's a physical copy, I guess fine, $60. But give us a manual at least. Come on. But anyways, that's really all I have to say on the subject. I mean, there's a lot of ground I can cover, but I'm sure, like everything that everything that Spoony Bard said and Nomdees said, I've seen both of their videos. They pretty much covered everything. They covered everything I wanted to say. So this is kind of my part into it. I will leave a link in the description to their videos down below. But yeah, and also if you guys have your thoughts, opinions, or anything, feel free to make a video response to Spoony Bard, because he's the one that came up with this video topic, and it's a really cool topic. And we, like I said, we also touched a little bit on our last talk show, so go ahead and check that out. And also, like I said, comment below. There's a comment section. Talk to us. Talk to me. I'm lonely. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. That's really all I have to say. Oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe, upvote if you're watching on Vidme, all that good stuff. And remember guys, when you guys are gaming, power up. Oh, I have a Facebook page also, just letting you guys know. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm tired. That's why I'm rambling on. I'm too lazy to touch the stop recording button. I'm talking to myself. Why am I doing this? Oh. Anyways guys, remember when you're gaming, power up.